You're listening to Permission to Heal, proudly brought to you by Ally Therapy, where brave human stories around mental health meet expert insight. And I'm Kelly, your host and registered psychotherapist at Ally. Join us in a space to speak freely, connect deeply, and heal in community. I am here with Kristen Seaton. I know her from her being a trainer extraordinaire if you're in the Toronto region.
Oh, that's so
She's
nice.
Sweat and Tonic girly. Spinco.
Spinco, yes. I just resigned actually 2 weeks ago, but all good things.
Never mind.
All good things though. Like, yeah. I could go into more of that.
So where are you mainly training now?
Just Sweat and Tonic
Amazing.
right now.
Okay.
And then my full-time job. So,
oh my gosh.
yeah.
What is your full-time job?
I work at Lululemon full-time in recruitment for the head office. So she's busy. She's busy.
Really busy.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like like trainers at gyms, you see their training life and they all have these like lives behind the scene. That's like such a mystery.
Yeah. Especially for us that do like both, like there's corporate people that do that just as like a hobby and side gig. But yeah, it's a lot. It's fun.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I knew I wanted to have you on. I tracked you down a little bit because you're celebrating something really, really special and exciting and meaningful. Share what that is.
Yeah, so I'm celebrating my remission from cervical cancer that I experienced last year. So yeah, I'm so excited. It's been quite the journey. It took me a while to kind of like process. It took a year of healing, which I love how the podcast is literally the title Healing. So it took me a year to kind of get to where I am today. But yeah, 1 year and I'm feeling stronger than ever.
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing.
Incredible.
So,
Let's start at the beginning and where this cancer journey started for you.
Yeah, so it was about in the summer before I got diagnosed. I've been with my husband for 11 years and we decided that we wanted to start having kids. And my hormones were always a bit of, I don't know if you've ever heard from like the fitness industry, all over the place. I did bikini competitions, did cycling for years, a lot of cardio. So my hormones were all over the place. My period was all over the place. So I wanted to get to my doctor. I'm like, I need to get everything on track. So she's like, okay, let's do all the hormone testing. Let's get you to do a pap test and whatnot. So I went for a pap test. And that's when it came back abnormal. But we always hear that can happen.
Yeah.
You hear that it could be abnormal cells, to the gynecologist. So a week later, I got scheduled to the women's hospital for a gynecologist. And I will never forget this day. The doctor comes in and he was about like 80 years old, 80-year-old man,
we
gynecologist.
all want an 80-year-old man gynecologist.
I'm like, I know. And I was like, well, this is so sweet. And I'm like very positive, making jokes. I'm like, this is nothing. It's just whatever. But this right then and there, he did the test and he looked at me in the eyes and was like, it's not good.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's like, it's not good. We'll do a follow-up, but let's just get the test back. And then from that moment, from like an 80-year-old gynecologist looking me in the eyes, I was like, I have cancer. So I had to teach fitness that night. I was like, my mental health. So that's when I found out.
Wow. Terrifying. Is that the word? Are there words?
But then it was like, okay, then I have to go for another test now I got to go see my gynecologist, like doctor, who's going to now tell me about the journey. So I was like terrified, but what's next? How bad is it? Like, what will the treatment look like? So it's very like, is it just a small surgery? Like, so it's just always like, okay, terrified, but then how bad is it? And so it was very, a lot of emotions for sure.
Yeah, and nothing really to ground in at that point. Like there's still possibility of it being maybe not so bad, right? You don't really know.
Yeah, possibility of it just being a small surgery.
Yeah.
So.
What did that time look like for you? I assume you go straight to your husband and are just scared and cry and.
Yeah, so we went to my husband. I told him what was going on, and he's like, "Well, let's just wait till we get more results and what the next steps look like." And so then I got a call right before I was supposed to fly onto a plane to Nashville with my best friends and my husband that again confirmed that I had cancer. So that's when it really hit. So when they're like, do we want to go to Nashville? I was like, yes, I do want to go to Nashville. I need this time away. Met with the doctor and they went through a treatment plan. They told me that I was going to get surgery. and that they wanted to go through surgery. I had a month to where the date was when it was happening. But in between that date, I had to go through IVF just to prepare to get all like everything in order. So in that month when I realized I had surgery to get rid of this cancer, it was like a shift of, I finally got TikTok for the first time. A shift. I was like, did so much research. I'm like, what is this? And how can I prepare to recover quickly and just go strong through all the surgery? So that in that month before surgery, I worked out really hard.
Oh, that's definitely a great idea, right?
I wanted to go in feeling my strongest to surgery because they said I was going to be out for a month in recovery.
Okay.
Which for me being so active, I was like, they're like, you could walk. That's pretty much it for the first bit. And I was like, okay, let's ramp up feeling really strong mentally and physically.
Okay.
So went through IVF. Was really hard. That was.
Can you describe it? Because I think that's a word, a term most people know, but people might not know what it actually entails.
Yeah. So it was when they told me I was doing IVF, they're like, do you want kids for the future? I was really like, yes, we do. But when we went there, it was like I had to be there. Not that I wanted to be there. So my mental state of like waiting for long doctor's appointments. You're there every day doing blood work. You're there doing ultrasounds to see if your eggs are growing. So it's a lot of your time and effort and patience. So me doing that within the 2 weeks before my surgery, knowing I'll be out for a week, my mental health was like, I don't want to sit here and wait for doctor's appointment or just do blood work and wasting my time going there and back. So I felt very, very drained, very, very exhausted while trying to keep up with like doing all my classes still and still teaching. A lot of people feel like you still feel really crampy and exhausted, but I just kind of like battled through because I knew that what was to come was going to be a lot of recovery. So,
okay. So you're clearly someone who you're a doer. Like you want your life to be full and you're someone who is so athletic and such a lover of movement. This idea of going into surgery and having to be slow sounds like it was really scary for you. So it was like, okay, we're doubling down.
Yes. Yeah. That was probably the hardest part, knowing that everyone's like, you're going to rest. It's going to be great. But I was like, oh, it's going to be really challenging. That was going to be one of the hardest parts for sure.
Okay. So IVF, did that go, it's getting the eggs out, right? So that you can put them somewhere with the sperm.
Yes.
And have them hang out in a fridge. And then so you can put them back in.
Yeah.
Later.
Later in life. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. So that's exactly it. Nailed it.
Success.
It was a success.
Awesome.
It went really well.
Cool.
Yeah. And then, so IVF, right after I had the surgery to get the eggs out, 3 days later I had my surgery. So it was right back to
bam,
back.
bam, bam.
Yeah.
Okay. Surgery. What was surgery like?
It was, I mean, it was okay. It went well. The epidural, I got epidural. So I didn't really feel too much pain for the first few days. I was in there for a week to recover.
Oof.
Yeah. So a week to recover. So being in the hospital. But again, I was just obsessed with how do I recover and what are the steps to recover from what I'm going through. So again, I was trying to walk as much as I can, doing what the doctors were doing, like telling me to do. But I think the hardest part to get out of the hospital is you need to do like relief gas and bowel movements. That was probably the hardest part, really. But other than that, I was home within a week. My mom stayed with me for a week and she did some home cooking. My husband was amazing through all of this. And I just started to recover. And so from that was like just walking. So walking just down around the block. And then I became obsessed with cappuccinos. So I was like, I'm going to walk to all the coffee shops in Toronto and try cappuccinos.
Wow.
And that became an obsession. And then I got into breath work, which when you're healing from something, breath work really saved me because that's something you're working on your pelvis and your core and like, again, your nervous system. And then I got into Pilates. So it was a very gradual movement from that perspective.
Okay.
I journaled. And it was the first time I ever journaled before. My amazing boss actually sent me this whole package about healing and journaling together. So that was like my process from surgery because there was a buffer between a week or a month of recovering until I knew the biopsy told me if it was successful or not. So it was a little bit of a waiting game.
Yeah. What were you anxious while you're waiting? Were you worried?
No,
you keep saying the word obsessed. I became obsessed with this. I became obsessed with that. You are an obsessive personality.
Yes.
Is that, ooh, I'm going to challenge you here.
Mm-hmm.
Was that kind of a way to distract you a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time. I was obsessed with learning about everyone's journeys and then realizing that wasn't my journey. And I can't wait to create my own story about how to heal. Especially on TikTok and like Reddit, which is also
Reddit. I'm like, is Reddit actually good for anything?
I was reading stories on Reddit. I'm like, scary, but also like that's not me and that's not how I feel. A lot of people are like, I'm bedridden, I couldn't do this is how I feel. But I was like, I don't want to be that. That's not my story. I'm not going to be bedridden and late and sit there and recover feeling sorry for myself and guilt and all the heaviness. So I just continue to do things I love, just in a slower pace, like you mentioned.
You have something in you that is so unwilling to accept anything less for yourself. Like these things that are a struggle, these things that are really hard. It's not like, I hear you.
It's not an option.
Not an option. Where do you get that from?
Oh, I don't know. Good question. Probably like my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like how
Husband.
you were raised.
Yeah.
And also like what other people, sounds like you have really great people that they're telling you you're not this, like, no, you're not dealing with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I grew up with sports too, like all competitive sports. So I always felt like that mentality to keep moving. And when things are hard, I was never stagnant in my life.
Yeah.
I felt like I always wanted to keep growing. And I'm someone who doesn't like to feel heavy and depressed for a long time. I realize when those feelings are there, you feel them and they're valid. But to sit with that and just for long periods of time is not how I like to live my life, for sure.
It's something I like to tell my clients sometimes. Yeah, because you don't want to ignore the hard feelings because they are valid. And I do believe feelings and emotions, they have a lifespan that you need to allow them to take, or else they're going to get all stagnant in there and start to affect you long term. So you do need to kind of realize what you're feeling and allow it. But then I like to talk about, then identify a target feeling. And then you have to take action to move towards that target feeling. So it sounds like that's something you're really good at. So you're like, okay, I'm going through something hard. I feel like this. I want to feel like that. Okay, walk in and go get a cappuccino.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Actually.
Amazing. Okay, so then you have your biopsy.
Yeah. So that was a tough one. So then it came back and it did spread. So it spread to my pelvis. So that appointment, my doctor's like, okay, it was a tiny, tiny little bit that it traveled. She's like, just for insurance, we're going to do 5 weeks of radiation and then 1 day of chemo per week. And that's every day.
That feels scary.
I mean,
unknown.
It was. In that moment when I was like, do I really need to stop my life again? Do I really need to tell work and teaching to put on hold again? And again, here comes the research. I did again, and I even talked to a nurse, and they're like, you can do all the things while you go through chemo and radiation, but you're putting your body at risk because your immune system's down and whatnot. And I had like a little heated conversation with my husband. He's like, you're not teaching. He's like, you want to backtrack your progress and whatnot. And I was like, it took me a while. It took a cry, a big cry. But I was like, you know what? Yeah, 5 weeks. We'll get through this.
Okay. You became willing.
Yeah, but it was tough.
Yeah.
It was really tough
to hear that.
Like, physically, I started to feel like myself again. This was like a month of like walking, Pilates, breath work. And then for someone saying, oh, wait, we have another like 2 months of this. It was tough.
Yeah, that's definitely, it feels like a step back. It feels like going backwards when you've worked so hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was me and my husband, we walked to the hospital every day. We got skinny vanilla lattes, and that was like our thing. And then, sorry, I'm going to cry.
Oh my God, cry away.
No, I did pretty good so far.
Take your time.
Sorry. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. What was so tough about not questioning it, but
just, putting your life on hold.
Yeah. Your life became those appointments and going through radiation and going through chemo.
Yeah.
That became it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was during the holidays, which was actually kind of nice. Because
Cozy season.
Yeah. Everyone was like, we were going for walks a lot. And it's just like a slow time that everyone else slows down. So I felt like I wasn't missing out on too much on life. But that took us to January. The radiation appointments, everything started to get a little bit easier. The chemos, I actually had little to no symptoms. So with chemo, fatigue, I craved really random foods.
Like
tuna sandwiches.
Okay.
I don't know why. But I didn't no nausea, no nothing like that you typically hear. The symptoms from the radiation was very wild. I got a lot of gas and I don't know, a lot of my TMI side. Yeah. A lot of TMI, but we made it through. And I got a naturopath actually during the process of chemo and
important.
And she was a cancer naturopath and also my therapist at the same time. She was amazing. And then
do you want to shout her out?
Her name's Elena. I don't know her last name.
Okay.
Elena Gar. I could give you her handle as well, but she was specialized in cancer and she was amazing. Okay. Everything from pre and post when you're going through all that stuff. So that really helped. So I met with her twice a month for the time being.
What did that, if you're calling her your therapist too, what was she doing there? What was that work like?
So there was pillars of health when you're going through cancer. So one was managing your stress levels, because that can be, again, cause it to come into worsen your recovery. There's pillars of sleep, there's pillars of nutrition, there's pillars of all of this of your life comes into remission of your cancer. So we just really needed to dial it in. Also some some natural vitamins and whatnot that I was on a regimen. And then I'm still working with her today, actually, a year later, just on post treatment and things that I'm feeling now. There's a couple symptoms here and there. But yeah, just going through the pillars of health every time I meet her and where is lacking and where she can support me.
That sounds nice. It's those check-ins that we maybe aren't great at doing ourselves.
Yeah, or you don't know. I learned a lot for sure.
Yeah, that's what's really great about those practitioners is you do absorb a lot of information.
Yeah.
Okay, radiation, chemo finishes.
Yep, finishes. Me and my husband go to Anguilla about 3 or 4 weeks later because of the radiation, everything. We want to make everything as safe. You can't go directly into the sun right away. So again, took some time for my body to continue to heal because it is a healing process after. But went to Anguilla and then I set myself another plan to recover coming back. And that was, I got a personal trainer, went back. And then I went back to spin. I went back to teaching full time and I just want to get back to life. So that's what I did right away. It took me probably a year to recover in the sense that I went back to full force back to life.
Maybe a little bit too much. Okay.
And so it took me some time to figure out there's that aspect of you go through something so traumatic and you're how have you changed? How have you come out on the other end of it? And I was I don't feel different. I didn't feel completely different right away because I was still healing.
I'm thinking of two things, healing your physical body, but also healing your mind and your emotions and your sense of self and your identity and finding a new identity that includes this experience.
So just a therapy, I put it to the side, just like you said earlier, I shoved it down and and even my naturopath was you need to see a therapist aside from me that will focus on all these feelings, the feelings of you going through surgery and throughout the journey. And I said, I will, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to get that therapist to bring it up and talk about it. It was not till June I got a therapist who I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Love. But when I met with her, I was I'm not ready to talk about what happened. There's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. So that's kind of the journey that you're with a therapist, what's happening in your life now. And now we're slowly starting to peel that away to what happened. So it's a long healing journey for sure.
Wow. So it is okay to start therapy even if you're not fully ready to put it all out there.
Yeah.
And your therapist was?
She's she was okay, let's do it. This is whatever you need from me. Yeah. Because when I did reach out to her, I told her my journey. And then when she's okay, where do you want to start? I was I'm stressed with teaching.
Yeah. Let's start with the easy stuff.
I'm like teaching stressful, or like my work, my day life, I'm burnt out. That's what I kind of wanted to target first.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really focusing on getting my strength back was really important physically. And then the mental part, I think something came a little bit after, and I'm still dealing with now.
Okay. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's all a journey, and there's no rule book for how to cope, how to move through. And I find a lot of people, some of the deeper processing and really facing stuff can happen years later. Like there is a delayed experience that's pretty normal for folks. So I think when you're going through it, you have to just survive. And so your system does all of these defense mechanisms and doesn't really like soak it in. And then you come to, oh, okay, everything's like just the normal life stress. And then it's like,
yes. Yeah.
That resonates?
Yeah, that resonates. Yeah. It was, when I was going through everything, I kept a very positive mindset for sure.
I hear that.
Very, very, very positive. And then when I look back, I feel like that's where the feelings get a little bit, it gets a lot, but I'm doing good. I'm excited about the future, because it took me a full year did a kind of a comeback year. And then as I came back, I'm like, okay, I miss that being in bed by 8. I miss like the walks with my husband, or really slowing down. And that's what I'm going to prioritize this year, which I'm really excited about.
If we're thinking about how this experience has changed you, is that a little bit of it, where you're learning there is pleasure and benefit to a little bit more slowness?
Slowness. And then also just staying close to your circle as well. I feel like being in this community of fitness as well, you're connected to so many different people, and you're giving so much energy to so many people.
Yeah. And you have to show up.
Yes.
Especially when you're, I did a sweat and tonic spin on Saturday.
Nice.
With Katie.
Love.
And it's a show. It's
Love
like a
Katie.
show.
It is.
You put on a show.
It's a lot. You're putting so much energy. And so this year I want to put energy towards the people I love.
I'm curious as to how you communicated this to people outside of your circle. Because you're someone you're in so many different communities. You're going through something so private.
Yeah.
What do you do around that communication? Because I can imagine there's a lot of different kind of approaches.
When I did teach spin, there's an opportunity where you can become a little bit of a motivational speaker. So in my classes, there's been times where a lot of my regular riders know everything that I went through. So when I spin and say something a little bit that kind of brought back to doing something hard into your spin, it really resonated with my riders. And then I think in the HIIT room and like doing HIIT training, it's a little bit harder to start talking about your journey in front of like while you're lifting weights. It's a little bit more of a shift, but I scaled down more so on teaching, but now more intentional the way I teach, and making sure that like, again, I'm really giving all that I have, but then really taking more time for myself. And like my community, if they know, but I'm not too vocal about it. I keep it pretty private.
It sounds like a really good
balance for sure.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're living more intentionally, more authentically.
Yes.
Really bringing yourself into all situations, whether it's being there with a close support person or making really thoughtful classes.
Yes.
Or being fully in recovery. I like the term. It's not about like training less. It's about recovering better.
Yes.
For people who are quite active and competitive, and that's really a part of them. It's about recovering better.
There's a shift that I felt to the last couple of months, is that I was giving a lot to people, but then I started to crave like that athletic that I gave to myself. So this year I signed up for a high rocks race. I'm doing 2 races, 1 half marathon, just a lot, just focusing on myself, which is really exciting. A lot more goals, and just like this like athlete that I have that I want to kind of bring out to the world a little bit. I don't know. It just, I felt like I was always instructor and giving everyone my energy, but I want now my energy to more myself and be a little bit more of an athlete. And
it's like time for you to feel all that.
Yeah.
Like you give it and you celebrate for other people, but it's like you want to celebrate for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you also deserve that. You've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so this year's the year of being a little bit more in the spotlight, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Or embodiment. At Lululemon, we did like a word of the year. Like Lululemon, we very much focus on our goals every time a new year comes around, and we did the word of the year, and mine's embodiment. I just want to embody like life, adventure, teaching.
Such an inspiration, truly. You're such a whole, beautiful, authentic person.
Oh, you make me cry.
Is there anything that you haven't mentioned yet? Anything that we haven't talked about yet that's really important for you to share?
I think when you're going through something hard, for sure, you're just realize that your journey is going to be different compared to other people. It's so nice to hear people's stories and learn, but then also just stay true to yourself when you heal. And that's what I did. I found, especially when I did research, I actually researched fitness instructor going through cancer.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Imagine your Google search history during that time.
My ChatGPT. I know. It was like, find me a fitness instructor, and I actually found a Barry's instructor who was going through breast cancer.
Okay.
I started following her. I joined her support group. Wow. And I resonated with her story. It felt a little bit more like me to where she was going through. But again, made myself realize that my story was different. So I took bits and pieces of what I've learned, but then also was like, but what makes you happy? What will make you heal properly and recover quickly that I wanted to. So yeah, I guess just to people to do your research, learn, reach out to support, get all the advice, but then also create your own story.
Within this podcast and interviewing people who have been through some pretty tough stuff, something that is a thread, I think, through everything is when you're going through something hard, seeking out that kind of community who knows what it's like.
Yes.
Because sounds like your husband's was incredible and your family's incredible and your close circle is incredible. But there's something about a connection with someone going through something similar that like it's such a sacred thing that you need.
Yeah, exactly that.
What does it do? What do you think it does for you?
I think validation that you're not crazy to feel a certain way, I guess, in terms of like for me to continue to working out, to continue to walk and do Pilates while I was recovering there's a community that's like, no, you need to recover, you need to rest.
I can imagine that.
But then I needed to find validation. I'm like, no, there's this story, and this person who's actually going through what I went through, and they're doing this, and they're doing the thing. So it just made me feel validated and permission to heal the way I want. Permission to heal.
Yeah, okay. So
it trickled back. Yeah, it just gave me permission to heal the way I wanted to heal.
So you stole my last question. The podcast is called Permission to Heal. So you get to send a permission out.
Yeah.
So re-say your permission for us.
Oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting.
Oh my God, I forgot. I can't wait. No, my brain will get it. You have permission to heal in the way that you want to heal.
Yes. Yeah. And just be authentic to who you are and what you want, and just do what you love while you're going through something hard. It seems impossible, but you can still do it.
Yeah, hold on to like that thing that kept you positive and like not accepting less for yourself and like pushing you forwards. You never lost that.
Yeah, I think that's it. You nailed it.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate it. Thanks, Allie.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Ally Therapy, where we believe that shame shrinks when we share our stories in safe spaces, and that every Canadian should have access to affordable therapy. Join the over 38,000 Canadians who have found their perfect therapist match through our personalized matching quiz at ally.io. That's ALLI.io, because you always have permission to heal.